The Holy Gospel according to Mark. As soon as Jesus and disciples left the synagogue, they entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they told him about her at once. He came and took her by the hand, lifted her up, then the fever left her, and she began to serve them. That evening at the sunset, they brought to him all who were sick and possessed with demons, and the whole city was gathered around the door. And he cured many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. In the morning, while it was still very dark, he got up, went out to the desert place, and there he prayed. And Simon and his companion hunted for him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone is searching for you." He answered, "Let us go on to the neighboring towns so that I may proclaim the message there also. For that is what I came out to do." And he went throughout Galilee, proclaiming the message in their synagogues and casting out demons. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Good morning. How are we doing today? Great. So this is the third service. So it's almost like I want to do the hallelujah dance. But also, like, much respect to the pastors, because I hope you keep your pastors in your prayer. And I'm glad I'm not one. My name is Rahel Mwitula Williams, and I'm a manager for donor relations with the ELCA Global Church sponsorship. And tonight, this morning, I bring you greetings from our presiding bishop, Elizabeth Eden, and to all my colleagues at the church-wide office. I know we hear a lot about global church, global mission, but the global church responsibility is the advancement portion of the global mission. We get to tell the story of the global mission. We get to share what the global mission is doing and engage people and give people opportunity to invest in the church, whether with their time, with their skill, with their finance. So we have the great honor to be able to spread the good news about the work of the church globally. Thank you, Pastor Kathy and Pastor Paul, for the invitation. Thanks to the Bethany leadership for the invitation to worship today. And thanks for Ron and Pat. I mentioned early service that they hosted me last night, so I avoided the snow this morning coming from Chicago. And I woke up this morning and Pat was making the mandazi, if you guys had the opportunity to eat. It's a nice, delicious fried dough from Tanzania. So I almost thought I was in Tanzania, but then the snow reminded me very quickly that I was in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Lastly, I'd like to give thanks to God for His truly not respecter of a man or a woman, because He gave me the honor to stand before you today. With that said, I do always make a disclaimer that I'm not a pastor, I'm not in seminary, nor do I have a desire to go. So all those theological questions you have on this gospel reading, which I'm sure there are many, because we Lutheran, we don't talk about demons. So I know this gospel lesson mentioned demons like 3 times, and I'm sure somebody has questions about that. So write them down and give them to your pastors, and there will be more.
I'm going to India.
So there you go, Paul. They'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that anybody that God put in front of you to preach the gospel, they're there for a reason. So I hope and pray that the Spirit will lead us in whatever that I have to say, you will receive it and hear it. So I normally don't title my sermon, but I've been blessed to be married to a great lay leader in our church who happened to be going to seminary very soon. We are negotiating where, but we narrowed down it's going to be a Lutheran seminary because he grew up a Baptist. So I actually can say that I turned a Baptist into a Lutheran, and I think there's a special place in heaven for me just for that. And I noticed when he preached, he likes to title his sermon, and I kind of like that. So I've learned a lot from him. And so today I would like to talk to you briefly on the subject of Take Me With You. So I am a middle child. I have an older sister, and I have a younger brother. My brother and I have 13 years gap. He's now 26 years old. When he was young, he loved to accompany me everywhere. I mean, everywhere. It used to annoy me at times because just imagine a 13-year-old with the 1, 2, or when I was 15, right at the height of my teenager years, he was terrible 2 and 3, and he wants to go everywhere with me. And my parents, being the great African parents they were, made sure I put him on my back. My mom told me how to carry a baby on the back at a very young age, so I dragged him everywhere I went. But the one place he loved to come with me, and I'm glad he did, is our church. I was going to Shekinah Chapel Lutheran Church, a church in the south side of Chicago. And he always say every Sunday, take me with you, take me with you. Of course, like I said, at times it was annoying. But now looking back, I'm glad because that was his beginning of his foundation. Our Sunday journey to church involved 30 minutes ride in a car, navigating railroad yards at 3 of the 4 entry points, which means if you be stuck somewhere, it can be another 20 minutes. So this journey can take up to an hour sometime. I barely noticed the gas station that served as grocery store or grocery store that served as, rotary ticket selling. It was poverty everywhere, but I never noticed. All I knew, the place that I was going was the place that I want to be. Despite the environmental distraction, Shekinah Chapel Lutheran Church has always been a communal place where fellowship was encouraged, the whole scripture were preached and presented in a way that challenged me to be better, to be a person that I am today, the person that I always know there is something about Christ that I want to take with me wherever I go. I've learned in these moments of compassion and service, that's when service happens. It means we take Christ with us. When we leave worship building, Christ is saying, take me with you wherever you go. Take me with you. Maybe this has happened to you. If you ever decide to call a loved one who disappointed you after hearing a word of God, have you ever been called to serve after reading a sermon notes or something that triggered you after Bible study? That's what place of community, place of worship is supposed to do for us. In the previous verses, in the first chapter of Mark Gospel, we are told that Jesus called Peter and his brothers Andrew, then James and his brother John to be his disciple. The disciple journeyed with Jesus everywhere he went. He took them with him. And then on the Sabbath, they entered synagogue. They did everything, but then on Sabbath, they entered synagogue. The scripture does not tell us what happened, who was preaching or what was going on, what kind of service it was, or whether it was global mission or just a regular service. We have no idea. But I wonder if Jesus was the one preaching or a lay leader like myself was preaching that day. But whatever happened on that Sunday, on that Sabbath, maybe something that inspired Simon and Andrew to the point where they invite Jesus into their home. I'll say that again. Whatever happened on that day, on that Sabbath, Simon and Andrew decide to invite Jesus into their home. Who are you inviting into your home today? Maybe Simon told Jesus that his mother-in-law was sick, so Simon had an ulterior motive knowing that Jesus can fix this. We don't know. But whatever it is, Simon had enough sense to know that I need to take this man with me so my mother-in-law can be healed. There are people in our lives who live with us in our community who are suffering from diseases, depression, anxiety, loneliness, poverty. And we are the ones supposed to take the message of Jesus to them. A message of hope, love, grace, compassion, and forgiveness. In early service, I avoid talking about this because I don't want to cry. But as I stand before you today, as I'm reading this gospel, I say, wow, my Lord, you truly have sense of humor, if I can say that, because today as I stand here, my father is at home in Chicago, sick, barely able to move. He needs 24/7 care. And I'm supposed, according to the gospel, I'm supposed to take Jesus with me so my father can be healed. So this sermon, I'm sorry, it may not just be just for me, what I need to hear today, because I need Jesus to be the healer in my father's life as we speak now. And I'm hoping when I get home, Jesus will meet me there so my father can be healed. So again, there are people in our lives, in our homes, in our community that needs you to take Jesus to them so they can be healed. Jesus is saying to you, Jesus is saying to me, take me with you. This woman was sick. She was unable to rise and from her bed and greet her guests. But after the healing from Jesus, she was able to do so. The gospel always reminds me, after I saw the healing, I started doing research, and this is the moment, if I'm wrong, you need to do your own research and take those questions to your pastor. I noticed a pattern about healings with Jesus. There's always somebody saying something to Jesus on behalf of somebody, or friends bringing their loved one to Jesus saying they need healing. There's always community of people that are advocating for one another for their healing. Do you see a pattern here? Who are you advocating for their healing? Somebody's healing depends on you to open up your mouth to invite Jesus to be a healer in their lives. Perhaps there's a situation needs you to bring it to Jesus. Jesus was invited into the home and situation. As I said before, time and again, we find the gospel, people approaching Jesus to tell Jesus the conditions of loved ones. Like today, for the last 3 weeks, I've been asking Jesus and telling Jesus about the condition of my father because I know he's the only one who can fix it. And I'm telling Jesus, I need you to fix it. And I trust God will do that. Every prayer is an invitation for Christ to respond. Sometime in church, we can get in routine. Those prayers in our bulletin, those names become routine. But today, when we read those names, no, that's an invitation for Jesus to come in and heal those who are sick. An invitation for Jesus to respond. Jesus entered the room of the suffering woman. Jesus is entering the room of my father where he's laying right now. He's going to stretch his hands and touch him. And through those hands flow the healing and restoration. This is what Jesus did with that woman. And today my prayer that he'll do the same for my father. And I hope he'll do the same for your loved one because each one of us have a situation that need a touch from Jesus. This woman immediately rose up, and guess what she did? She started serving. When this woman was healed, she started serving. When we take Christ with us, we are moved to service. Who are you serving today? Because each one of us have been healed for some sort of illness. And like my grandmother said, if you have not been healed, live a little longer, life will happen and you will need the healing. So when you do get the healing, remember, when you get up, you need to serve. Like Simon's mother-in-law, she served the Lord. I am living testament of what it means to take Christ with you and serve. See, I'm a third-generation Lutheran from Tanzania. Yes, third generation. My grandfather, Saurondeki, was a teacher and one of the first local missionaries in Tanzania. Yes, missionary can happen locally. Missionary can happen in your congregation, in your homes. My grandfather lived out Jesus' commission to go into the world and make disciples. Response of take me with you and serve. I'm standing here today because of his legacy. Also the legacy of men and women, missionaries, who entered Tanzania in 1887. Yes, the very first missionary entered Tanzania in 1887. They planted seed, and that seed is now the reason why we have 6.8 million Lutherans in Tanzania. And I always like to say and counting because the church is actually going at 10% rate. If this was a business, if you know a company that is going at 10% rate every year, I think all of us will be investing in it. So that's a hint where you need to invest in your church because it's growing. Also, my grandmother told me one time, I got tired of people questioning how come I'm a third generation Lutheran, you know? But you're not from Sweden. I know. Yes, I think I can prove that. But people always wonder, how come? And I used to say, like all good Lutherans or Christian, I was born one. I was born one. So I got tired of saying that. At a certain age in my life, I said, you know, the answer I was born one is not good enough. I need to find out why and how. So I asked my grandmother, and of course she gave me the answer that I was not looking forward to. As a fundraiser, as a manager of donor relation, the person who goes out to tell the story of the church, my grandmother told me we had no choice. And I said, Grandmother, I cannot tell that story and I don't want to lie, so you need to tell me something. And she said, well, let me explain something to you. All the basic needs of the community, the village, the country, the rural area were provided by missionaries. You see, the missionaries were the group of people that met the basic needs of the people. If clinics, talk about clinics, school, farming, water, everything was done through the missionary, through the church. So missionaries was a group of people who accompanied the community Monday through Saturday. Like good Lutherans they were not inviting people to church. We do that, right? So they were not. And I know that is something that we as Lutherans, sometimes we are not good at. We can tell people about, I have a great doctor, go see him. I have a great dentist. I got a nice place for sushi, I check it out, go. But you have a great pastor, nobody is saying, we have a great service, come to church with me. We've been conditioned, and which is, we all guilty of that. So the missionaries then were not doing that. That's not how they evangelize the people. So guess what my grandmothers and the people in the village start doing? They start following them. They realized these people disappeared on Sunday. They didn't see them. So they start following them. Where did they go? Where are they? Guess where they end up? Church. Worship service. So they stayed. Yeah, it sounds really cliche. They did. Next thing you know, they went back. Do you know where they go on Sunday? Other people start following them. They say, if these people were with us during the bad time, during the farming, but they were with us during the harvest, Monday through Saturday, during the clinic when you go, it's that missionary doctor, that missionary nurses caring for your child. In the school was that missionary teachers teaching your child. If they're able to do all of this, giving us life and life abundantly right here, then truly we can listen to what they have to say on Sunday. And that's how the church in Tanzania start growing, and that's what they're doing today. The church and the missionaries are meeting the basic needs of the people. Yes, we have a different context here, but there's so many things to be learned from one another. And this is still happening all over the world. My family story is not the unique one. It's the story of our church. What is this church is able to do with your help, what we're able to do together. You see, my role at the church-wide office is to connect the individuals and the congregation for the opportunity to grow and serve our church. We are responding in so many ways, like helping to build health clinic for women and girls in South Sudan. We are still doing that. South Sudan is the newest country in the world and the newest Lutheran church, just last year in November. By helping cultivating leaders in Siberia, yes, Siberia, by helping to create programs of healing communities in Honduras and Costa Rica. Last year, our church sent 94 young people into the world to serve. And Bethany, thank you. You are playing a major role in helping this to go on. You are always supporting our young people. I saw on your website, so normally when I get an invitation, I tend to go to the website to see what you guys are up to. And I've been in this role for 3 years. And I have to say, I'm not standing here because I'm in front of you to say this. I was amazed the level of service that's going on in this church. It's the only church I actually found a tab on the website that says service. Do you guys know you have that in your website? Yes. There is a numerous opportunity for you to serve in the congregation level, in the community level, in the world. We are serving our brothers and sisters locally and globally. So thank you for taking this journey and for allowing us at the church-wide office, us at the global mission, to be able to tell this story and to invite others to do the same. Because it's for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So let us all go and proclaim the good news. Amen.